This training module will introduce you to the basic principles of pressure. Upon completion of this module, you will be able to explain what is pressure, pressure terminology, why measure pressure, deriving non-pressure variables. Pressure measurement is used in all kinds of industries. The requirements for the transmitters, of course, can be different from one industry to another. Some need instruments for high process temperature. Some use very special process connections, and others need instruments with an approval for use in hazardous areas. But the basic function is always to measure pressure and convert the measured value into a digital or analog electrical signal which can be read by the automation system. From the physics, we know that pressure P is force F distributed over an area A. P equals F over A. With the same weight, you can generate a different pressure depending on the size of the area affected by the weight. If a part with a weight of 100 pounds is standing on an area of 100 square inches, the pressure is 1 pound per square inch, psi. The same part, standing on an area of just 1 square inch, generates a 100-fold pressure of 100 psi. The same explanation as before, expressed in metric units, is the following. If a part with a weight of 100 kilograms is standing on an area of 100 square centimeters, the pressure is 1 kilogram per square centimeter. The same part, standing on an area of just 1 square centimeter, generates a 100-fold pressure of 100 kilograms per square centimeter. A pressure transmitter can be used to measure various forms of pressure. It can be used to measure gauge pressure, absolute pressure, or vacuum pressure. The drawing shows the relationship of the various forms of pressure that can be measured with a pressure transmitter. Gauge pressure represents the difference, positive or negative, between measured pressure and existing atmospheric pressure. The negative difference of gauge pressure compared with atmospheric pressure is sometimes called vacuum pressure. Atmospheric pressure is the force of pressure exerted by the Earth's atmosphere. Average atmospheric pressure at sea level is equivalent to 1013 hectopascal absolute, 14.692 psi absolute. The value of atmospheric pressure decreases with increasing altitude. Absolute pressure is a single pressure measurement with a reference to a full or perfect vacuum. It is the measure of process pressure with reference to full vacuum or 0 psia. 0 absolute pressure, 0 psia, represents a total lack of pressure. For example, space is considered to be a full vacuum. Barometric pressure measurement is a special absolute pressure measurement. It measures the atmospheric pressure at a current location. For example, used in aviation in order to identify the aircraft altitude. Hydrostatic pressure, sometimes called head pressure, is encountered in liquid-level applications. Hydrostatic pressure is the pressure below the liquid surface exerted by the liquid above. Line pressure, working pressure, or static pressure is simply the amount of pressure or the force per unit area exerted on a pipe or tank wall. Vapor pressure is that pressure at which a liquid boils. The value of the vapor pressure depends on the current temperature of the medium. Differential pressure is the difference in magnitude between a pressure value and a reference pressure. In a sense, absolute or even gauge pressure could be considered as a differential pressure with respectively total vacuum and atmospheric pressure as a reference. Overpressure is the maximum pressure the transmitter can withstand without damage. It depends on the type of sensor and the design of the sensor, and is described in the datasheet. Proof pressure is the maximum pressure the transmitter can withstand without leaking. Although pressure should be expressed according to the International System of Units in Pascal, for example kilopascal, megapascal and so on, very often different units are used in different regions. Although the Pascal is the international standardized pressure unit, you will find in Europe often the bar is used. In the United States, the SI unit is nearly never used, but instead PSI. Depending on the application, you sometimes find inch water gauge or inch H2O. The units inch mercury or millimeter mercury are often used in combination with absolute pressure measurement. The atmosphere is the unit sometimes used if the pressure of the Earth's atmosphere is measured. The main reasons why pressure must be measured are the following. Safety reasons. In a running plant, pressurized pipes and vessels should be prevented from bursting, so that the plant is protected against damage and people will not be harmed. Process efficiency. In a lot of processes, it's necessary to keep the pressure within a limited band to ensure that the right product with the best quality will be available at the end of the process. The measured pressure is the input for the DCS that is used for control and documentation of the process. Cost saving. A pressure measurement with good accuracy helps reduce costs because it prevents unnecessary expense of creating higher pressure or lower vacuum than is required by the process. Measuring other variables such as flow, level, density, and liquid interface level. Okay, you've seen a lot of facts and information, and I'm sure a lot of it is not new to you. What have you learned so far? Pressure measurement is used in all kinds of industries. The requirements of the transmitters, of course, can be different from one industry to another. From the physics, we know that pressure P is force F distributed over an area A. P equals F over A. Pressure terminology reference pressure. Pressure transmitter can be used to measure various forms of pressure. It can be used to measure gauge pressure, absolute pressure, or differential pressure. Although pressure should be expressed according to the International System of Units in Pascal, for example kilopascal, megapascal and so on, very often different units are used in different regions. Definitions of pressure. The main reasons why pressure must be measured.